This video is sponsored by Viking Jewelry. So what do we know about the Norse, the Vikings? Well, the first thing is, of course, that they were incredible explorers and very skilled navigators. But usually when we think about this, we think about the most famous, at least here in Europe, journey that they undertook, which was the one in England, modern-day England, Lindisfarne, them killing monks, getting their silver, fighting the Anglo-Saxons, of course, everything that we see, for example, in the TV series Vikings. And yet, for me personally, their colonization of Greenland and their attempt at colonizing North America, so basically talking about Finland, are also equally interesting. That's why I'm going to have a drink. So let's get started with Erik the Red. Now, this man, a Norseman, he had some problems with the law locally in Scandinavia, and so because of manslaughter, he was exiled. He had to leave. First he leaves and goes to Iceland, then he needs to leave Iceland as well, and so he's thinking, you know what, this is the right moment to turn conqueror, to turn explorer. So he decides to take a bunch of people and they go to the west and they reach Greenland. Now, of course, at the time it was not named Greenland. In fact, this is the man who is going to name it Greenland. And this is where our story starts to become really interesting. Do you know why they actually named it Greenland? Just a few seconds ago, I said that he took a bunch of people. Now, how do you convince a group of people to leave their land, therefore Scandinavia, and go to this new place that they thought it was a peninsula, actually, even though Greenland in reality now we know not only it's an island, but it's the biggest island in the world. And you know that the fact that it was that big, probably that's why they thought it was a peninsula. But anyways, that's beyond the point. How do you convince these people to leave what they have and go there to a land they know nothing about? They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know how dangerous it is. They don't know what they're going to do. Well, you need to help them imagine it. And of course, the name really is selling it, if you think about it. It's kind of a sort of propaganda. It's a green land, and for people who are in Scandinavia, that's already a pretty nice thing. It makes it very desirable, because a Greenland is a place where you can settle, you can colonize, you can farm, and you can produce all the things that you need to produce in order to supplement a successful colony and settlement. If you go there, it's free land and it's Greenland. So you can take it, you can have your thing, you can build your place, you don't have to buy it. It's yours for the take, and it's green. And that it's interesting because it kind of, as a Scandinavian at the time, whether you be a Norwegian, whether you be a Dane, what alternatives did you have to your homeland? Well, you could go to Iceland, a land of ice, or you go to Greenland, a land of green. That's what it is. All right, but enough about that. That's brilliant. It works. He brings people. They go there. Not an easy trip. But again, we're talking about the Norse here. I mean, they are exceptional navigators. In fact, this trip, one of the things that we learn is not really the historical significance of these settlements, which, by the way, lasted about 500 years, at least the ones in Greenland. But what we learned is that they didn't really leave a lot from a historical point of view, because at the end of the day, spoiler alert, they all die. But one thing that it does leave is a remarkable historical imprint that tells us how good the navigational skills of the Norse actually were. On a side note, they also tell us that Christopherus Columbus did not discover America at all. I mean, sorry mate, they did it in the 10th century. Alright, our story is starting to get really interesting. These people reached Greenland, and what do they find? Is it green? No. It's a very, very difficult place. It's not easy to find fertile land, and it's very cold. Winter is coming. But of course, now you're there, you've got to make it work. Tough luck. They establish hunting grounds further up in the northwest. We're talking about quite distant place, so that would have required a lot of work, a lot of energy. But hey, we know that the Norse, one thing they're extremely resilient, and they do find game. But luckily for them, they don't find people. That makes it very desirable, and therefore, you know, if you go to a place, you can just take it, and nobody is there to oppose you. It's much better. But one of the things that the Norse were doing at this time, it wasn't just plundering, it wasn't just fighting, and it wasn't just settling, but it was also trading. They did all of these things, and establishing a very successful trade route was the basis in order to make sure that a faraway outside colony could thrive. But in our day and age, it's mostly Eskimos that live there. And it's interesting because all the way up to the early 18th century, Norse didn't know that. They didn't know that by the end of the 15th century and beginning of the 16th century, the Norse colony was basically wiped out and everybody died, possibly also because of the Black Death and the trade routes and all the things that involved. I love my mail. Now, I'm sure you remember that towards the beginning of the video I did say that we're talking about Greenland and North American colonies, namely Finland. So what's up with that? I know you're looking at this and you're thinking, wow, that's a pretty cool medallion there. What is it? Well, this was given to me by the guys over at Viking Jewelry. I mean, no one can say I don't get my sponsors to fit. Now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about this and the amazing deal you can get. And when I say amazing, you can literally get this for $7. Huge discount. Check this out. So the original price will be $39.90 on their site, but through the link in the description, only for the next 48 hours, you'll get a discount of $32.90, which brings the price to $7. It's an amazing opportunity to get this Vegvisir pendant, which to be honest is very beautiful. It's very easy. If you click on the link in the description below and you put the pendant inside the cart and you go for the checkout, it automatically adds the discount, as you can see here. But the reason why they're doing this is because they want to prove to people that they are serious when it comes to the quality of their products. And I plan on using my discount code because, of course, for the next 10 days you also have a 20% off the entirety of the shop with the code META20. So make sure you don't miss out. Click in the description below and get your pendant today. Finland was somewhere in modern day Canada. Now, before people start attacking me, when I made a video on the Aztecs recently, I said that Mexico is in North America, and quite a lot of people actually in the comments said, no, it's not in North America, it's in Central America. And I'm like, it's not. Mexico, United States and Canada is North America. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. So I'd like to underline, when I say North America, I mean Canada. So basically we're talking about Finland is believed to be most likely nearby modern day Newfoundland or Newfoundland. No idea how to pronounce it. The place was found by mistake. The Norse trader Bjarni in 986 literally made a mistake, wanted to go to Greenland, actually sort of passed it by and ended up in Finland. As he starts following along the coast in order to eventually turn right and go back to Greenland, he notices two lands. One he calls Markland, or the land of timber, and the other one he calls Helluan, the land of stones. And again, the name teaches us a lot. Just like Greenland as a name just taught us why and how these people thought, this again is very interesting because he sees this place and the first thing that really catches his attention is, goodness gracious, there are a lot of trees. Resources in the area were really something that was meaningful and important to these people. And also it teaches us that in order to establish a successful colony, the sort of resources that they needed were stone, timber, iron, food, possibly game, fur, etc. Foraging also would be a good plus. We just said that Greenland as a series of settlement lasted for 5 centuries, but that's not the case for Finland. So the North American Norse settlements. Why do I film at 3 in the morning? It's 3 in the morning. North American settlements did not last very long. But why? Finland as a territory was preferable over Greenland. Son of Erik decides to go, they bring some people and they go and they start settling. The problem with Finland is that differently from Greenland, it was inhabited, not something that they were expecting. As these Norse navigators start exploring the forests, they see 9 people. And these people, well, they called them screamers if we had to translate it. Now that sounds like a perfect name for a setting of a, I don't know, some sort of forest horror movie. But it's actually how they called people who didn't speak Norse. So it just sounds like they're screaming, that sort of thing. I'm still holding the thought of my horror screamers. I'm gonna have you guess what happens next. So imagine a group of Norsemen see 9 people. They're not happy. These people are probably Native Americans, and so they look strange from their point of view, and vice versa, I suppose. What do? Come on, you've got 5 seconds. Write it in the comments. 3 seconds left. 2. They murdered everyone. Not very smart. When is your life saved? You might want to load the game. Lindensfarn! Seriously? You gotta save more often, mate. Right, cut a long story short, all these natives get really upset that they murder their friends, so they attack them, and they use canoes, and they use bows and arrows. Anyways, they start killing the Norse, so they have to retreat. So they go back to Greenland, but they're still thinking of Greenland. They're thinking, yeah, you know, that place was nice. I mean, they did murder our friends, so maybe we shouldn't go, it's dangerous, and these people are not really amicable. Yeah, it's probably not the case, but the timber, mate, that was some fine timber. I know many of you are gamers. What do you do when you fail a level? So they're going back, they're going to try again, they're bringing more people, still, you know, not really significant numbers, and that is one of the reasons. I mean, yes, the Norse are technologically superior, they've got iron weapons, iron armor, steel by that time, but still not, you know, not many people, so it's not really going to make a huge difference. But then again, you know, they're going there, so they go back, but this time they decide, you know what we need to do, we need to play it nice. So, you know, these people are here, we don't know how many of them, but probably quite a few. They know how to fight, they are skilled archers. How about we trade with them? How about we are nice? So we don't know exactly what happened, we don't know the details, but we do know that the Norse start trading with the people and they kind of accept them this time, always a little reluctant, but fur, food, fangs, you know, it's good. The problem is that some of the food that they got was cheese, because the Norse liked doing that, and probably they were lactose intolerant, so probably that wasn't very much appreciated. Anyway, so we don't know what happens, we don't know why, and at the surprise of the Norse, the natives, they gather in a massive group and they attack them. They start killing some, they don't manage to completely wipe them out, but they do make it so difficult for the Norsemen to actually settle there that they eventually abandon the idea, and they're like, you know what, it wasn't the best place on the planet, but it did have a cool name. There is a lot that we can learn from this story. We understand that the Norse had incredible navigational skills. We knew that before you even clicked on this video. But another thing we learned is that the Norse were particularly devoted to really trying their best to expand, colonize, and explore. My question that I would like to leave for this at the end of this video is this: what would have happened if the Norse had extended their navigational and exploration curiosity to other places of the world that, as far as we know, I'm gonna say, as far as we know, because you never know with the Norse, next you're gonna find a Norse helmet on the frigging moon. What would have happened if they had reached places such as ancient Japan? Given a little bit further away, but we do know the Europeans, when they sort of discovered America, they were circumnavigating Africa, and they were going to India, and that's why at one point Cristoforo Colombo, I'm sorry I can't say it in English, I'm Italian, Cristoforo Colombo decided, you know what, let's go west because I'm sure we can reach India. So they reach America. Columbus doesn't know, and that's why he calls the people Indians, and that's why you still say today American Indians, although luckily people finally started saying Native Americans a bit more. But if you think about it, when you watch a cowboy movie, it's the cowboys against the Indians, and I'm like, they're not Indians, Cristoforo, they're not Indians. Cristoforo, dai! Ma mangiati un piatto di pasta e stai zitto. What if the Vikings had reached ancient Japan during the Viking Age? What would have happened? Well, if you want to know, I can make a video about this. What would have happened if the Norse had reached ancient Japan? Well, if you like the idea, share this video, and if it gets enough views, I will make that. I'll make chapter 2. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, the Metatron has spread his wings.